me again. I'm back. I know I packed a punch yesterday with some stuff, and my intentions are always pure and simply bringing awareness to things that a lot of us may not have previously considered due to the depths of programming, and it depends on the level of hell we've come from as well. And I know I have this cheesy setup and whatever, and it's not the best quality and stuff, and at the same time I've realized, who have we been taught to listen to? Those with status, titles, letters, papers, and class distinctions, followers, subscribers. And I realized through my journey, really closing myself off to a lot of amazing people and information by doing that. And also really limiting my ability and dragging out my ability to discover the truth for myself. What I know to be true for me. Well, how did I come to know, amidst all the stories, what is true for me? And how is the truth malleable? Well, there's a lot of factors that go into what truth is and what we believe it to be. And a lot of it is based on our perception, our upbringing, our desire for it. Or do we desire to hear and know truth for ourselves? So it doesn't have to be what I'm sharing. It's more the willingness to be open to it. Be open to another perspective that may add a facet of truth that, or deeper meaning to something we may have already known. There's also the upbringing, our predisposition for it, our attitude about it. Do we have cognitive dissonance and just immediately shut anything out that does not go with what we want to hear or we believe to be true? Because that's a program. We were taught that. Don't question. Don't look at anything else outside of this. It's from Satan, or it's from the devil, or it's from somewhere evil or bad. Talk about a mindfuck, manipulation. The truth doesn't mind being questioned. Only lies do. So when we're convinced that what we believe to be true is true, we really don't worry about what other people are saying or believing, because we know it may not be our truth or what we believe to be truth from our experience. That's the thing. Is it based on experiencing the truth, or is it based on what we were told is true? Because here's the interesting thing that I discovered. There's truth that we're told and believe without questioning. And I realized why we were told that and to not question. Because once I started questioning and experiencing things, then it was like, holy shit, whoa, this is powerful stuff. And it makes more sense than what I was told. And it took a bit for me to get there. I was like a lot of people. I had the cognitive dissonance. You couldn't tell me shit before. I wouldn't listen until I got tired of feeling like shit and wondering why I was feeling like shit and wondering why all this shit was showing up in my life. All these people and circumstances and experiences that were negative and downright evil, really. And then going to church and they're acting like they're good. Like I'm the one that's going to go to hell or be punished or whatever. And it's like, Yet here they were being so abusive and manipulative and gaslighting and assuming and projecting and acting like they're good, and yet I'm seeing the hypocrisy and like, this can't be the truth, because if they're convinced this is the truth and they're getting away with being like that, doesn't make sense to me. So how, and what was interesting is how I came to realize the truth and experience the truth was being around those whose words and actions were matching. Then I was around people who were behaving in the ways that examples that the masters have given, Jesus, Buddha, whoever, their examples, and applying their examples and realizing, oh, now I feel the truth because I'm around people who are demonstrating it and not just talking it. And I realized it's so prevalent. It's so prevalent. And as I started, as I'm going through and uncovering all this stuff and all the things I'm around and all the things that people are telling me are real and true, and yet they're not demonstrating it by their actions and choices, I saw how there's a lot of people, why they're conflicted, because we're doing what we're told by those entrusted positions of authority, and yet their examples are not matching what they're saying. And so we're going by their examples because, hey, they're doing it, so it's okay. And yet we're not feeling the experience of the truth, so we're left conflicted and confused and wondering what's going on and not really knowing where it's coming from. So it's interesting, and our feelings have everything to do with how we're manifesting. Yes, our thoughts, our words, our beliefs, our focus all play a part. And ultimately what those lead to is how we feel. And how we feel is the expression of what's going out to, in prayer, in intention, in what we're saying and what we're feeling. All of that is going out to come back with results. What we're feeling, what the truth really is, and what we're believing to be the truth. And what I realized is this system, this world as it is just feeding the lower vibrations, the lower chakras, the stories that are sending us into confusion. Because I noticed, once I discovered the truth for me, how they're making bad guys in shows and movies, as well as the crazy ones on movies and TV, that are ones sharing the truth, yet they put a negative spin on it by making them the bad guy or by making them look crazy. Like, say, conspiracy theory movies. They always make the conspiracy theorists look crazy, yet they end up being right. Which is interesting. But that's called predictive programming. And it's literally meant to manipulate our perceptions, because they know our perceptions are everything. And what we believe to be true is everything. So they're manipulating it and sending us into confusion on purpose. So I thought I would get out my cheesy old school, my graphic here of the frequency chart again. And how, what we're feeling. If you think of the fact we're sound, universe is sound, everything is sound, frequency. And when sound is amplified through a certain medium, it creates a feedback loop. So what feelings are we amplifying? Are we excited? Are we happy? Are we in joy and peace? Or are we stressed? And are we angry? Are we frustrated? Are we upset or feeling guilty about some shame about something, fear of what others think, or fear of losing this or that, or the lack that's creating so much stress because we believe and feel we don't have enough or aren't enough. So what that's doing, I'll go this way, is creating a feedback loop of that feeling or feelings. Either way, if they're not up here, putting out to come back, putting out to come back. So until we do something about our emotions and expand and move up and start creating from that place, we'll continue to recycle experiences to us that make us feel. And there is science that shows our brain chemistry, our own pharmaceutical that we have in our head, will produce chemicals to make us feel how we're thinking. It's a big deal. So how can we move from the lower vibrations to the higher vibrations? With our expression, with our genuine, authentic expression. And a lot of times, because we have been also taught to be judged, shamed, guilted for being different, or for, needing to live up to other people's expectations, that we tend to mask how we really feel. Because how many people really give a shit anymore, to be honest? How many people really care? And so we just shut down and don't express how we really feel, because a lot of people don't want to hear it because they're caught up in their own shit from stressing out, that nobody listens to each other anymore, and we don't feel free to express ourselves honestly or at all. And it's a big deal, because when we're not sharing authentically, we're dismissing ourselves and dismissing others. And going back to a previous video where I shared, again, we're mostly water, and water shifts shape based on how we're feeling and thinking, which can structure the water within us as well as in general what we're drinking. And when there was an experiment done where there was water poured into jars of rice, one jar told I love you, one jar told I hate you, and the other jar told ignored. And the jar that was ignored rotted. So when we are dismissing others and not being around people that allow us to freely express ourselves and be ourselves authentically, positive or negative, sharing stuff that's going on in our life or challenges or whatever, and that they aren't offering support or really even give a shit what we're going through, then are we leaving them to rot? And this is why the connection is so important, because not only can we learn a great deal from each other, experiences, expressions, lessons, that we also help with the self-expression, the authentic self-expression, which authenticity is the highest vibration they have found in science. Authenticity is the highest vibration, and when we can express ourselves authentically and be around people that we feel safe to express ourselves authentically, great deal of healing can happen in a breath and relax and decompress and get it out. So when we're venting, it's one thing to be a victim that's just always in this victim mentality where they just want to complain about their life and they're not really doing anything about it. And then there's venting, where we want to get something off our chest, and being able to authentically express to one another allows us the ability to release that, get it out of us, so we're not stuffing it and suppressing it and keeping us in stress, where our breathing is shallow and we're not breathing deep, to where we're able to think clearer, we're able to create solutions or come up with options, or be able to interact in a more relaxed environment that's not in this stress state or in a masking state where it's also stressful because we feel like we're having to put on some front around people because we feel like we're a burden and they don't really give a shit, so we're just gonna stuff it and not get it out of us. So to be able to express our truth, regardless of whether we believe it to be true or not, simply having a safe space to express ourselves authentically with each other alone has a lot of benefits. So I didn't want to make it a long video today. I just wanted to get on here and share a bit of information that may help people realize the value of changing our words, which will change our expression, which will change our DNA, which will also change how we feel, which will change what is showing up and what we're experiencing, and getting more of what we do want out, to have what we do want come back, and not be in this victim loop where we're just being victims and not really doing anything about what we're feeling and what our perceptions are of things. Because of course we're gonna have, there's stress, I mean there's responsibilities and things that we require getting done. At the same time, our perception of it makes all the difference. I have things come up, I have stressful situations happen. I just sit back and reflect on what attracted this to me. What am I believing, thinking, feeling, doing, saying that is causing this to show up? Because regardless of what it is, we're creating at all times what's happening and what's showing up. And that's where a lot of people shy away from the accountability and responsibility it takes to be a creator, which we already are and we're already doing. So why are we avoiding the accountability and responsibility we have and that it takes to manifest and feel better? Because what's choose your hard? Is change hard? Thankfully, having people to assist us through it makes it much faster and easier. And at the same time, lasting results. Challenging, getting through it can be challenging, takes a little time and effort. And at the same time, do we want to keep feeling that way constantly? Do we want to keep stressing out? Do we want to keep having shit show up? Do we want to keep worried, fear, doubt? Or do we want to actually start feeling better and managing our emotions better so that we can start having more power and control over what's showing up? People want to control outcomes. You're not doing it from the ego. That's counterproductive. That's force. And force creates counterforce. So we're literally resisting ourselves. What's another term for resist? Satan? Devil? Resistor? Opposer? Could it be we're opposing and resisting ourselves through the ego, through that mentality that literally shapes our perception, which affects how we feel and what we're creating and manifesting? Interesting. And what was Jesus? The way, the truth, and the light? Do we believe we are separate from that? Or are we aspects of that? And we can be aspects of either. going back to it's all a choice. So our truth is malleable because what we're believing to be true is what's going to show up. Microcosmic, individually, as well as collectively. So if we're believing the things we're hearing and seeing on the news and with others without really questioning whether it's really true or not and just blindly swallowing it as truth, then enough people believe it, going to create a real dragon. So when we can shift our focus and our beliefs to one of creation, one of life, one of building new, believing it's possible, and enough people believe that and are doing that, it's really not complicated. We're just overcomplicating it. And we have a tendency, and we're taught, to overcomplicate the shit out of stuff that's not complicated because we've been bombarded, paper swamped with so many stories telling us what's real and true and what to believe. And yet, from experience for me, applying what I'm sharing and living proof of what I'm sharing, way easier and more fun and way less stressful when we choose. So join the Freak Show and become a member so you can be a part of more activities that we're going to be having. November 14th, we are doing a Freak Show workshop, Freaky Friday. And we'll be doing language games and letting you experience for yourself what I am saying. And so come join the party. It can be fun when we make it fun. Much love.